Receiving incoming transmission.
Well, how are you doing this fine day, Q?
I'm doing well. How about you there, Gold Shell, my good friend?
Well, as a Blizzard fanboy, I am very much pleased with the news we got today. Um, are you briefed up on what's going on for the most part?
I read an article or two. But since you are more of the Blizzard guy than I am, I'm gonna let you take the lead and lead us into what the news is with Blizzard this week.
Yep. All right. So basically, what we got here is the just pull up the article. According to an MTN report on Money Today on the 28th, Nexon was selected as Blizzard's preferred negotiator and entered into full-scale negotiations regarding the StarCraft IP collaboration and distribution rights of Overwatch Mobile in Korea and Japan. Another fascinating thing about this article is Overwatch Mobile. It is known as a game in the MOBA, multiplayer online battle arena, a genre on the mobile platform. It was also commonly known as, quote, Overwatch 3 by the domestic or Korean game companies that participated in the bidding. The original StarCraft soundtrack when you're playing the game is legendary, so I had to incorporate it into a podcast like this.
I
Anyway,
am eventually going to play those original games. By the way, RTS games aren't necessarily my favorite genre of games, but I will say, playing through Halo Wars gave me some interest in it, and because now StarCraft is on Game Pass, um, or it's not on, is it on Game Pass? The
it's on PC Game Pass,
is
bro.
on PC Game Pass, so I can, and because they can run on potatoes, I can download StarCraft 1 and 2 on my laptop and get through those campaigns. At least I probably won't do a lot of the PvP stuff, but I'll get through the campaign sometime in short order, especially if they announce a new game in the franchise.
Yeah. Yeah, you should give them a go, man, because oh old boy back here, Mr. Jim Raynor. So I've said this before, like with Gears of War, every time I played Gears of War, I was just thinking, wow, I really wish I was Jim Raynor slaying Zerg. And that might happen now, buddy. So Jim Raynor is my Marcus Phoenix as a big Blizzard guy. So I really hope that where we go uh, involves Jim Raynor. If not, whatever, StarCraft is StarCraft. I'll take whatever at this point. But you were saying before we went live that you did some digging on Nexon, right?
I mean, not too much digging. We had a conversation before when they first put the news to the different companies to see which one I thought would make the most sense. Obviously, I don't know any of the background stuff for these companies and for Microsoft, whatever their relationships, but just looking at the games that they've come out with over the years, and if I, as a fan, would appreciate the type of game that would come out of that partnership. And I think one of the is like NC Soft, and I looked at NC Soft, and most of that stuff was like mobile or MMO games, like the NetEase and NetEase track record, except for some game. A lot of their games, their track record ain't that great, but they do have some standout ones. And I think when we had that original conversation, we were like, probably Nixon, because Nixon seems to me that they have the best mixture of um uh game genres that they've worked on, because they have games like The First Descendant. They have I'm looking at a list right now, so
Which
excuse
you just
me.
saw gameplay of. I'm
Yeah.
up to level 18 on that. And honestly, dude, if they made a StarCraft looter shooter like with the Unreal Engine 5, like they did with First Descendant, I would not hate it. Now that
I
begs the
mean,
question:
I still have to
how
play First
involved is
Descendant, so I
Blizzard
can't say that.
gonna be? Like how involved is Blizzard gonna be? Are they gonna just say, "Hey, have at it," and then catch catch it down the road and go, that's fine. We'll just stamp Blizzard on it. Or are they going to get in there and start? Because
I
the thing
I
I
feel
worry
like
about is with First Descendant, the UI is a little bit cluttered, like
mhm.
a lot of those types of games.
It
And I'm
has that it
thinking,
has that it has that very heavy microtransaction type UI where it's like, okay, as soon as you log into the game, here's the store.
yeah,
And here's all the things you can buy. And here's the 12 different places you can go for the 6 different currencies that we have in the game, all on the front
exactly.
screen. Um
Just hope that gameplay loop for First Descendant was awesome. The way how it ran was incredible for Unreal Engine 5. You're starting to see a lot of developers. I mean, I haven't the last 4 games I've played on Unreal Engine 5 have actually ran flawlessly on Series X. So performance wise, I'm excited about it. Let's just hope Blizzard goes in there and goes, no, let's change that a bit. We're not doing that. So
Well, I think if we're going to talk about that, and I don't have this information, maybe you do it. If we don't, we'll just go by it because no point talking about something that neither of us know. But I would assume that a good case to look at in terms of how they're going to work with the studio if they're doing it with a different studio, Diablo Immortal. Like
yeah, oh
how much of Diablo Immortal is Blizzard and how much of Diablo Immortal is I got hands. How much is Blizzard? Other hand. How much is Blizzard? How much is NetEase? When we
mhm.
look at Diablo Immortal. And if we kind of look at that and see what they did before, obviously they changed a little bit because when they did Diablo Immortal, they weren't under Microsoft and they handle things a little bit differently. But I feel like we
Yeah,
can look at the relationship from that, which if we remember, uh people from NetEase like broke down a statue and called people assholes and all that type of stuff from their previous Blizzard arrangement. So it wasn't all that great, but
yeah.
we we can we can kind of surmise that there'll be a decent amount of Blizzard involvement in a project that they're doing with a different studio. Just
They
don't know.
fine. Blizzard got a new daddy, so so or in a case, yeah, yeah.
But I'm looking forward to
That was
seeing
the
what
whole
they do. Um, like I said, like one of the things has always been for me, the only Blizzard game that I actually have time into is Overwatch,
yeah.
and Diablo 4 because I've played a decent amount of Diablo 4. But previous to that, I'm not a PC player, so didn't really jump on those things. StarCraft after the so I will say, and call me a fanboy if you want to. But each acquisition that Microsoft has done over the last several years where they've gotten stuff, I went out my way and I'm like, okay, let me look up these IP and these franchises and kind of like dig into them a little bit and see what I like about them if I never played them before. I did it with a bunch of Bethesda IPs when they bought Bethesda. I did it with Double Fine. I did it with Obsidian. I did it with NX. I did it with everybody. Every studio that they've acquired since 2018, I have looked at the games that they came out with and kind of studied them and been like, would I like this? Did I like this? Some of them I've gone back and played, not all of them. But I did the same thing with Blizzard, and if they put a StarCraft game in a genre of game that I'm more likely to play, because even though I will give RTSs a try, it's not the genre that I'm used to playing. So if they make it like a third person shooter or a first person shooter or some kind of action adventure game or something, I'll be all in and I'll be super excited to jump into StarCraft lore and world and everything like that because it's sci-fi and it's my bag. Um, I just I want to save my excitement until I actually see what kind of game they make. If they're making like a First Descendant style game in the StarCraft universe, I might be all in. If they do, and even though I play this game, I'm not knocking the game. I'm just saying in general. If they do like a Warcraft Rumble in StarCraft universe, I'm gonna be a little less excited about that.
Yeah. If they do go the mobile route, which is going to segue into the mobile one that might actually be quite interesting. If we'll touch on that part later. I'm hoping it's a shooter, and that's why I was really excited it was Nexon.
I'm
That
hoping it's a shooter too. It's
I'm thinking it's going to go shooter because they were just sitting there telling us. I mean, in the article that it almost looked like they were just sitting there going, "That's a rough task to take on to make a StarCraft 3." They may look into other genres, so
yeah.
yeah. Uh, but I think the next best thing is to probably go looter shooter. It's a live service model. Blizzard, that's kind of Blizzard's bread and butter. So I mean, take the stuff you learn from Diablo with inventory management and stuff like that, and
And work on it and
yeah,
fix it. And
and then make it a third person
we
shooter.
and we are the prime age group of people that remember StarCraft Ghosts.
Yep.
And
I
that's
will
one of the things
forgive Blizzard for shutting that down if we get a looter shooter.
because I always go back to that when I talk about Blizzard because I only have a few entry points with Blizzard. I have like four. I remember watching that trailer for StarCraft Ghosts and thinking that like, oh, this game is going to be dope, and then it just never existed whatsoever. Um, I gave World of Warcraft an attempt. Actually, I've attempted World of Warcraft like three different times, but
Yeah,
like I never put enough time in it because I'm like it's one of those games where I'm like I feel like I feel like my life might. I already play a bunch of games. I already spend so much time playing video games. If you give me a game that takes up half your life, I'm just like I'm afraid of it. If I'm gonna say anything about Warcraft, I'm afraid of Warcraft because like if like I don't like I haven't played enough of it to be like I like it, but if I do
but
like it, I know what it does to people's lives.
if it ever came to console, would you give it a shot or would you just reject it?
See, if it came to console, I would probably give it a shot. But again, like at some point, I'd be like, I want to live. I just want to live.
Yeah,
But
I don't. I don't really know Life Warcraft. It's kind of weird. I'm actually able to pace myself out on it. So another expansion will come out. I'll play that, get to max level, do some stuff, and then I'll pop in for seasonal stuff here and there, and then I'll play the next expansion. I
I'm
don't
just
generally know life it because that's the beauty of Game Pass. When you get
I'm
bored
just
of something, you
remembering
just
I'm remembering being in the army in like 2011, 2012, and there were some friends that I had that were in the army that were like, "Wow, wow, wow." They said Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we're playing WoW, and
yep,
I had to stop an argument between two people one time because they were like they were pissy at each other because they missed their raid that night. I think one of them fell asleep or something. He was like, "Yo, I was waiting for you, and you never showed up." And they were like legitimately arguing. I was like, "Yo, chill. What's going on? Like, relax. Y'all friends. Why y'all mad at each other? This motherfucker didn't show up. Oh, ooh, excuse me,
yeah,
language. This mofo didn't show up at our our time to go on a raid, and we didn't have a healer, and this, and this." And I was like, "All right, like,
yep.
relax."
They still exist too. But I
So,
remember when StarCraft 2 launched, and I was it actually launched. I was in Busan, South Korea, when it
uh,
launched, and I remember going into an internet cafe with my Dell XPS 13 at the time. I just got it from Navy Federal as just a build credit, and I went in, I went into an internet cafe in Busan, and I challenged some South Koreans to StarCraft. That didn't go
didn't go
well.
well. Didn't go well at all.
No, they were good sports, man. It was just, and you want to talk about, you hear rumors and stuff where StarCraft theme is Korea's national anthem. And honestly, man, when I was there, it was a damn event. I mean, every single billboard, internet cafe was just littered with StarCraft. And the funny thing is I was living in Japan at the time, and it was just pretty much all anime and Capcom, Square Enix, and then you get over to Korea, and it's just this big American game, just completely
Dominating everything.
just ingrained in their culture, and it was crazy, man. It was cool to be a part of. I'll never forget being in
And
Korea
that's
at
one
the
of the
launch of
things.
StarCraft 2.
And StarCraft being such a huge thing in Korea is one of the reasons why I'm like, and I've said this for a few years before this happened, but especially after they got Blizzard, is that like the push for Microsoft for Xbox when it comes to like the Asian market, everybody's like, yo, they need to push Japan, they need to get Japanese developers, they need to get Japan on their side, and it's like,
Exactly. Dude,
don't
just
forget
not
about
having Blizzard
Korea.
is China, Korea, dude.
Yeah,
Having
Korea
Blizzard,
is
you're
such a
exactly right.
big gaming like Korea is such a big gaming like community that is and we're seeing the games coming out of their studios now, and everything that we've seen from Korean studios haven't quite come to fruition yet, but like some of them look fantastic. Like we got Black Desert Online, so we know that Pearl Abyss can make decent. I didn't play it more than the original like trial for it, so I don't know how if it was the greatest in MMORPG ever or anything like that. But it looked good and it was fun to play from what I played for it. So seeing games like Crimson Desert that's going to be coming out
Yeah.
in the future, seeing some of the I don't want to start naming games and they don't be from the right country, so I don't want to
We
mess that
we
up.
might get the best damn StarCraft fan game ever made. Basically.
It's
But that's
potentially
really what you
possible to get
want,
that.
man.
Yeah, exactly.
Look
So
at
it's like
Sonic
I am.
Mania. That was made by fans, right? And then
Mhm.
Sega said, "Yeah, cool. Thanks
We'll
for
make it
making a
official.
good
Yeah.
game." Yeah.
So
So,
I'm
yeah,
looking forward to seeing what they're doing with this. Um, like I said, I'm StarCraft. If I'm looking at Blizzard IPs, StarCraft is the Blizzard IP because I'm more of a sci-fi guy than anything else. So
mhm.
StarCraft is the Blizzard IP that I was like. If they're gonna bring something back and bring it into a genre that I really enjoy, then that's what I want to come forward to StarCraft. But like
I
you said before, oh well, go ahead because I was about to
I
segue, but we didn't
I mean,
segue.
you got PC, and your PC will run StarCraft 1 and 2. You should give them a shot, man.
Well,
Yeah, they're
it's on my list. I just have I'm trying so hard to get through so many
yeah,
games right now, but it's in the backlog. It's back there.
yeah. I might actually replay 2, um, here soon. My brother's been wanting to do co-op in StarCraft 2. He said the co-op's pretty. I never did the co-op. I just did all of the story missions and stuff and did a little bit online, but I never tried the co-op. I might try that. But we got other news other than StarCraft Q.
Yes, you do,
I saw
and
some
it's
people online saying Overwatch 3, and I don't know what, but then I also saw something on from Overwatch Calvary. I forgot to grab the clip, but they're saying that this might be a League of Legends Rift of what's the thing called? I was about to say
okay.
Rift
Yeah,
Apart.
Wild Rift. Yeah, that's what I saw. So
Wild Rift,
what I saw about it
Ratchet
was
and Clank.
what I
That's what I
saw
almost
about it was from the Overwatch Calvary post that they put, and basically they were saying that it's a possibility that they're going to be working on a MOBA style Overwatch mobile game, which I'm not the biggest mobile game player, but I do play mobile games. Um,
as long as they offer
I
comp too. I mean,
I I
I'd imagine
unfortunately
it
have
has controller
been
support.
spend a few dollars on mobile games, which is why I avoid them. It's easier for me not to spend money on console games than it is for me to not to spend money on mobile games. So I try to avoid mobile games because I wind up spending money on them and I shouldn't. Bad habit.
Well, what they
But
could do though, I mean, if it has touchscreen support, then I would assume that it probably would have controller support as well. I would just say do what Fortnite does and just put it on everything and just especially if it's not graphically intense and it can
Hmm.
work on
Well,
controller.
it
Yeah.
very much depends on the style of game it is. One of the things
Mm,
that I think that one of the things that I think and they should put it everywhere because this is the thing that I feel like is going to be what they want in the future, but they kind of lack on it right now. Is if Xbox wants to be everywhere, they want to be on console, PC, mobile, cloud, etc. They need more games that are like Dead Cells, that's like Slay the Spire, that's like Among Us, that's like Balatro, that's like Vampire Survivors. All these games that like people enjoy playing, but they feel native and they feel right to play on everything. That's what Xbox needs more of. Um, we have games now where we can play console games on mobile, but like playing a console game on mobile is different than playing a mobile game on mobile. And so they need to have more of these games that kind of fit the mold on every platform versus just being like, oh, a game made for this platform converted to this other platform, right? Does that make sense? So if they found a way to make Overwatch, and actually Overwatch, because Overwatch is already popular, Overwatch is one of the games that they need to look at like that, where it's like, okay, we're using the Overwatch IP, we're doing something different with it, but we're making a game that it doesn't matter what platform it's on, it feels native and it feels good to play. Because like if you're trying to play a mobile game on your phone and it's a console game, so they don't really have like because a lot of mobile games are like swipe this way, you get swipes and moves and all your different all the different controls that you have for controlling stuff on your touch screen. Whereas right now, when we're looking at cloud games and we're looking at some of the games that they have on there, it's very much like it's still a controller, it's just controlling your phone. They need to build games where they have the native, more intuitive mobile controls that people are used to when they're playing mobile games. And we don't have that right now because all the games are like console console converts instead of being full on mobile games. So maybe they can do that with Overwatch MOBA, a mobile MOBA. Because if it is Nixon that's working on a project like this, they have the experience with making mobile specific games. So it'll be it's interesting to see that they might be going in that direction, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we get out of it.
Man, they got if all this is actually comes to fruition and it's true, man, they got Nexus or Nexon locked down.
Hmm.
They got work for them for sure. I would honestly I wouldn't even be surprised at the end of the day if Blizzard just says, "Yeah, we're just gonna make you Blizzard Korea."
Because well, they already have Blizzard Korea, so they might just add it
Yeah,
to. They
they'll
might
just
just buy them and add them
add
to
to
it.
it.
Yeah, I,
Yeah.
I'm just really looking forward to see one of the things that I want to see a lot more of coming up. And we're in 2025 right now. Current gen consoles came out almost 5 years ago now, so we're looking at
Mhm.
probably seeing next gen in the next 2 maybe 3 years or so. Um, I was going somewhere with that, and I lost where I was going.
Talking about
oh, oh,
consoles.
so what I want to see, especially with Microsoft, and we need to see it from PlayStation too, honestly. And we've been seeing it from Nintendo for years, but nobody really pays attention to what studios Nintendo's games come out of. Um, I want to see them dig back into the catalog again and bring back IP. And because they have so many studios and those studios are working on so many projects, it can't come through the internal studios. They got to be working with third party studios to publish IP that their in house studios aren't working on. So hopefully we see more of that later this gen going into next gen, where we can see Microsoft's Xbox Global Publishing really take off, and have a bunch of games that are first party IP but through third party developers. Because that's the only way we're going to see certain titles come back. Everybody talks about Banjo. Rare's not working on Banjo. We're not going to see a Banjo come out of Rare. We might see a
But
Banjo come out of a
that's
third
another whole
party
video I
studio.
could
Yeah.
that's a whole nother video I can do, because that being said is, what was it? Steve or Paul Young from Toys for Bob interviewed Canadian Guy A,
Hmm.
and, he wrote something that, th they wanted to work with Xbox because they think a certain honey bear has been hibernating long enough. That came out of his mouth. So,
and
apparently
and
Toys for
Toys for
Bob is
Bob.
working with an Activision IP and an
Mhm.
Xbox IP, so a lot of speculation is Spyro and Banjo's coming,
That
but
would make sense, honestly. Like Toys for Bob, that's their bread and butter is making
Banjo.
those style games. Um, I've only played a bit of the original Banjo, so I don't have the nostalgia for it that a lot of people do. Um,
Yeah, I do. I'm a Nintendo
but
kid.
I know, yeah, I know. There's people out there that love their Banjo and they want it so bad. Unfortunately, when it does come out, if it does come out, it's not going to sell that great. But that's you know, that's how it is. It'll be on
We'll
Game Pass though, so that'd be nice.
well, we'll see what Toys for Bob does. They've been hinting at it for, probably, uh that's not the topic. So, but, anyway, is there anything else you wanted to cover?
um, honestly, no. That's it. I think that's what the news is that the Blizz or the news that we would want to cover is
Yeah.
Blizzard picking somebody that they want to partner with so they can make more games. There's a lot of excitement coming out of it. Like, I mean, just it takes a while. It's going to take a while, and just because it took 2 years just for them to acquire Activision, Blizzard, and King.
Yeah.
So it's going to take longer than that for those games, the things that we want to see from them to come to fruition. So it's a waiting game.
I mean, we're getting a
But
new Tony Hawk this year, so that's
yeah,
already cool.
but we're
So,
sitting here in 2025, and you think 7 years ago in 2018 when they picked up the studios that they picked up then in 2018, 2019. We look at
yeah,
Obsidian versus 2019 when they got picked versus 2018 when they got picked up versus now in 2025 where they've dropped Avowed, Grounded, Pentiment. They're going to drop the Outer Worlds 2, right? So
mhm.
we're seeing we just saw South of Midnight came out, which was
You're seeing all
fantastic.
these Microsoft games showing
Yeah,
up on Battle.net for some
yeah,
reason.
and we're seeing all these Microsoft games show up with Battle.net, but we seeing that like, yo, it took a while. It's 7 years, 7 years from them acquiring them in 2018, and we're seeing it now. We saw it for the last few years before too. Don't get me wrong, but we're still in the process of seeing what Activision does. I think people were like, "Oh, after they acquired them, now we should see everything that's happening." Nah, we really won't see what Activision, Blizzard, and the King got cooking until the next gen comes out. But we'll see stuff before then. We just won't see the absolute like this is really what they were being acquired for until later. So I have faith that we're going to see a lot of games come out of them that we're all going to enjoy. Um,
Yep.
Especially with them, opening up Blizzard having the team of King developers to make smaller games within their IP. Activision opening Elseworld Entertainment. Uh, I don't know if anything particularly big happened with King other than like I'm pretty sure they're working on stuff other than Candy Crush.
Yeah, they
So
did a solitaire Candy Crush crossover
mhm.
that I tried and actually enjoyed, and I may play again. So,
But
but
we'll see where they going with it. I'm just like I'm sitting here chilling. If as much as I got a backlog of games to play, I'm not super focused on what's coming because got so much behind me to play. But when it comes, it'll just get added to my list, my forever long list.
Yep. Yep. All right. I guess we're gonna wrap this up. Like and subscribe, of course. I know all the cliches, but if what do you? I guess put in the comment section. What do you think Blizzard and Nexon are gonna make for Overwatch and StarCraft? Or both of your
Or
thoughts?
if you're even sure that it's going to be Nexon, because it's only we're just discussing that it's the possibility of Nexon, but
Yeah, I don't know if
there's
there's
several
any
different
official
companies that it
confirmation.
could be that they're working with. I would have automatically assumed NetEase because they were trying to get that contract, well, not the contract, but they were trying to get that relationship back after they kind of screwed it over with Blizzard before they got acquired, and then after the acquisition, I feel like Microsoft wanted to like build that relationship with NetEase back. Um, so not saying that it wouldn't be Nixon, but when I first heard the news, my first thought was it's like, oh, they want to continue to build that relationship back up with NetEase. But that might not necessarily be the case.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Well, I guess we'll find out officially. Hopefully at the I don't know BlizzCon
It'll probably
2026,
be
which we'll be at.
it.
Hopefully.
Honestly, it'll probably be like a post or something. I don't think announcing, oh, we're partnering with this other publisher to make games is a event announcement. That'd be like a blog post or something.
Yeah, it's been kind of leaked at this point.
Hmm.
Oh, but anywho, y'all have a good night.
Eat game love or
Yep.
whatever Cork says.
Yeah, whatever he says. So.